So I'm picking this up quite a while after the Whipple was actually installed. Now this video is taking quite a while to come out. The car has actually been dynoed already with the Whipple on it. And it put out some really good numbers, and it caused some controversy not only within my own comment section of the video, but also in some Facebook groups as well. And I'm going to go over the numbers on this car and why they're so different from car to car. Standard correction factor, SAE correction factor, all that stuff thrown together, and in the end for why none of it really matters in the long run. Well, that's for another video, but I'll get that one out fairly soon. The day we did the install, there was 3 of us all doing separate stuff. I had the stock blower off, and I was replacing all the bolts on the intercooler with the new ones and putting thread locker on those. A couple of the friends were replacing the inner belt because I took the pulley bridge off, because while I was there it was one of those things that I might as well do the pulley bridge, taking it off and getting the inner belt done just so I know that it's done. I would hate to do all this work to the car and then have to replace the inner belt at some point after I was already that deep into it. So overall the install went fairly well. I know I didn't record everything, but it was because I just didn't want the camera equipment in everyone's face all day, and it makes things so much longer time-wise doing a video while doing something. So I didn't really do it as an install video. But overall it really wasn't too bad. There were a few hang-ups, but for the most part everything was good. 60-pound injectors are in, and since the Whipple was put on, I did add the catch can. I did read on the Whipple site that you don't need a catch can with this Whipple 2.3, but I already bought it, so I was just going to run it. When I first got the car, I did have breathers already on it, but they weren't baffled. The one back there where the PCV valve is, and over there where the intake tube goes in. And you can still see the oil staining. You may be able to see it on the nameplate for, the team that built this. There's still some oil staining and stuff in there, and it was blowing oil everywhere. I just didn't like that, so I went with this baffled breather, and the PCV valve is back in, and everything seems to be working really well. The only thing that I will mention that this is really tight for the idle air control valve. I'm almost thinking about buying a separate harness and then splicing the wires together and making this harness longer, because it's really tight connecting up to here. But it seems to be okay, but maybe that's something I'll tackle later on, because there are other issues with the car that I need to address over time. This is it right here. I'm not sure the condition it was in, how much life it had, or anything like that. So, and plus this end was really marred up, made it hard getting an end in there for a ratchet. It was kind of beat up and marred, so I wanted to at least get a new one. So it's got a new belt tensioner, so I don't have to worry about that, instead of having it go bad at a worse possible time. So it's better to do it while you're there. So now I'll show you guys the air quotation marks, the ported Eden blower that came off this car, and what we found when we actually pulled it off and I flipped it up and took a look at exactly what I actually got. Alright, as far as the Eden goes, I was told it had a 2.76 pulley. It doesn't. I measured it, it's a 2.9. So as far as the ported Eden blower goes, a lot of you that know these blowers well will know exactly what you're looking at. Those of you that aren't quite sure what you're looking at is a stock Eden supercharger. It's not ported. I was told it has stage 3 port, whatever hell that means. It doesn't have any port. When these are ported, usually there's a hole right here, and this is opened up, and like this material here is removed, and this is all just opened up a lot more. It's cut deeper in, and there's a hole cut here, and none of that's done. So that's a completely stock Eaton supercharger after I was told it was a ported Eaton. The reason why I suspected that it wasn't ported was because of the numbers that the car put down. It put down 480 something on the dyno. This car with long tubes in a ported Eaton should be breaking 500, and it wasn't. I kind of just assumed that where it was dyno tubed in South Carolina, I have the video of it. Maybe I'll throw that up right here as well. I assumed it was probably really hot, something like that. Just didn't make good power. That's what I thought. But it turns out that it made exactly what a pulleyed stock Eaton did, because that's what my last Cobra made, my red one. My torch red one put down like 486, 480, something like that, with a stock Eaton with a pulley on it. So that'll wrap up the Whipple install video. Just kind of wanted to go the process a little bit, show you guys what we did, and kind of do an overview after. As I said earlier, there is a dyno video, so I'll link that as well if you guys want to check that out if you have not seen it yet. The power that it made was really, really good, and there are issues which I covered in the dyno video. I'm not going to rehash everything again. So there's more power in it just as it sits, but there's things that need to be addressed that will fix those issues and make it so it pulls even more power than it did on the dyno, which really wasn't what I was looking for. I'm not looking for big numbers with it, but I can't leave it as it is, so those issues do have to be addressed on it. Hope you guys did enjoy the video. If you did, leave it a like. I have a lot more stuff coming up with the Cobra car shows, all kinds of stuff. There's more upgrades to be done on the car throughout the summer, and more dyno time hopefully later on this summer with some final numbers of what this car will make. So if you would like to sub, the sub button is down below, but above all else, thanks for watching.